Hey everyone, episode 4 of the Holland-a-thon, and today I will be watching In the Heart of the Sea. Now, I have never seen this film and I know very little about it. I know it stars Tom Holland and I think it stars Chris Hemsworth, which is funny because Chris Hemsworth is Thor and then Tom Holland is Spider-Man, and I don't think they interacted in the Marvel universe yet, so they have in this film, or at least I assume they will interact. I guess it's possible that the film tells two stories, one about Chris Hemsworth and one about Tom Holland, and they just never meet each other. But that would be silly. Anyway, I think it's a Moby Dick movie. I know it's about whale hunting. I don't know if it specifically tells the story of Moby Dick. I think it has something to do with Moby Dick. Why I assume that? I have no idea. I haven't read any synopsis or anything. Maybe I saw a trailer when this film came out or something, and I have forgotten all about it except for that little fact. It might not even be true. Maybe it's just something I dreamt. What else do I know about this film? It's not that I had never heard of it before now. It's a movie I wasn't interested in seeing. I think I remember when it came out and a couple of my friends didn't like it then, so I was like, yeah, then I don't have to see it. It's about whale hunting, I don't really care. But once again, I don't know if it is about whale hunting or not. And the fact that my friends didn't like it and it doesn't have the highest score on IMDb kind of concerns me, but on the other hand, it's about time for a bad film. I mean, we've had a good run with Tom Holland. We've had 3 solid films, so yeah, maybe it is time for a little bit of a worse film. But hey, I'm not assuming anything. I'm just going to go ahead and see, and I will let you know what I thought of it after I have seen the film. I'm back! This movie is... it's something, alright. In the Heart of the Sea is the story of Owen Chase, the first mate aboard a whaling ship that encounters some issues. Let's just say issues. And this story is supposedly the story that inspired Moby Dick. I say supposedly because it looks a lot like a film story and not a lot like a real life story, but yeah, it's supposedly the story that inspired Moby Dick. The film is set up with this framing device of Herman Melville, who is the author of Moby Dick, who is interviewing Thomas Nickerson, who is one of the sailors that was present on the ship, on the whaling ship. And Herman Melville interviews him about the story in order to write Moby Dick. And this framing device didn't really work for me. I think it didn't add much. I think it made the film feel a little longer than it probably should have been. And as I said, it didn't really do anything except for saying like, hey, this is the guy who wrote Moby Dick, remember? This is the story about Moby Dick, remember? I get that the whole thing of the film is that this is the tale that inspired Moby Dick, so you might as well show how the author heard of the story. But yeah, I don't know, it didn't really work for me. I think it probably could have worked just as good, if not better, without the framing device. So I've read some reviews about the poor visual effects, and yeah, I don't think we saw the same movie because I thought the visual effects were fine. In fact, they're great. It didn't take me out of the movie at all, and in fact, sometimes I couldn't even tell what was CGI and what wasn't, unless everything was CGI. In that case, yeah. Apparently I'm just bad at telling CGI apart from real things. There were also some complaints about the boring color palette, and yeah, I can agree. The film didn't look very interesting. There were some cool shots, but it could have looked a lot better. However, I could also see how this film might just work for some people, like especially the color palette. Like that might just be there the thing that they dig, and I can totally see how that could happen. Now, Chris Hemsworth, he plays the protagonist, Owen Chase, and most of the times I like Chris, but in this movie I was really distracted by his accent. What was that supposed to be? Was it supposed to be like Boston or East Coast or something like that? Because it sounded almost like a mix between that and Australian. I really don't understand what was happening with that accent, and nobody else in the movie had that accent. Tom Holland, who is English, had just a standard American accent, the one that he will get famous for in the near future. So he sounded fine, but Chris Hemsworth was just like, no, I didn't like it at all. So as I said, Tom Holland was fine. He did a good accent, a standard American one. I think the role he played was just fine. It was nice, it had a purpose in the movie. I think that if I had never heard of Tom Holland, he wouldn't have appeared on my radar after this film. It wasn't exceptional or anything, it was just fine. And speaking about Tom Holland, in the last video I had some issues with his age in real life and the age of the characters he portrays, so let's just continue that, shall we? Thomas Nicholson, the character he portrays in this film, is supposed to be 14, it is said once, I think, or twice. Tom Holland, on the other hand, was 19 when this film came out. So far, we've had Tom Holland play a 12-year-old when he was 16 in The Impossible, a 14-year-old when he was 17 in How I Live Now, and now a 14-year-old when he was 19 in the Heart of the Sea. And I'm really liking this comparison between his character age and his real age, so I'm going to keep an eye on that as we go further. Anyway, I know I've said a lot of negative things about this film. I still liked it better than I disliked it, and that is why I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. It was just a bit bland, Chris Hemsworth's accent was weird, it wasn't really my thing, but I can see how some people would enjoy this film, and to me, that's enough to give it a 7. In the next episode, I will be watching Captain America Civil War. Wow. So do join me for that, and I will see you then.